Hi guys and girls, welcome back to Watch the Time. Thanks for tuning back in. Thanks for coming back to see me. I'm really pleased you've done so. And I'm extremely pleased about to bring you another Baltany. This one featured on my sale video, the end of summer, back to school sale one. It's sort of like the khaki pilot style. I've got the white one in. There's a couple of other color variations to choose from. It's the S202076. I've got to double check. I'm not giving you the wrong number. But like I said, 3 different color variations to choose from. They've obviously drawn inspiration from a Hamilton. It just looks really cool. And what I do love about Baltany, I love their finishing. I love their crystals. I love the movements being correct for the watch they're using. And they're doing some exceptional stuff. They've really been doing really some great dressy pieces and military pieces. But now they're just ticking lots of boxes to me, to be honest. Like I say, hopefully by the time we get to the end of the video, you know, if it's for you, some of you might have made your mind up on my watchable video, but if you need a bit more persuasion one way or another, hopefully I can help you make that decision. But yeah, I'll stop going on. I'll leave a link in the description. Please feel free to use it. Sit back, relax, get yourself a nice beverage. It's about that time to get the camera turned around and get on with it. Hi guys, so this is the watch. This is the packaging I've become pretty accustomed to getting now. Out of cardboard box. Inside you've got a sort of like a watch roll, leatherette with sort of material. You've got a warranty card, instruction manual, cleaning cloth all inside here. I haven't really taken anything out. I haven't really needed to use it, but it does come signed. Probably unsurprisingly, Baltany are really good at that sort of stuff. But put that all back, because you want to see the watch, don't you? We're not really too fussed about the packaging. That's not the reason you buy these watches. But this packaging they use now, the watch roll and stuff, I think is really good. I like the fact that it just can keep being used and stuff, rather than just a box that would just sit there. So yeah, nice to see. Then put the crown in. Had it all ready in preparation for the review. So this is the white dial version. There's a couple of others that you can choose from that I'll bring up next to me. But I just really wanted to see the white one, to be honest. But yeah, 3 colors to choose from, including the white. So I'm sure there'll be one that's more in keeping with your taste. The model number for this is the S202076. Inside this watch, it's running a Seiko N838 movement. Fantastic to see. Baltany are one of the leading brands in terms of using the correct movements for the watches that they produce. No ghost positions, really, which is great to see. 24 joules, 21,600 beats per hour. Yeah, 41-hour power reserve. And like I said, this is the no-date variant of the NH series of movements. So yeah, really good to see. I'm always happy to see the brands using the correct movements. San Martin and stuff could really take note of what Baltany are doing with the movements and stuff. So there we are. The construction of the watch, aside from the crystal on the front and the bezel insert and the leather strap, is all 316L stainless steel. So that's the bezel itself. That's the case, crown, case back, and pin buckle clasp, all brushed. Very tall aesthetic for the sort of military style watch that it is. So yeah, all brushed, done nicely, which I'm sure you'd expect. Because for me, I've become accustomed to movements being correct with Baltany, the brushing being really good, and the polishing as well. Obviously, no polished surfaces on this. And the crystal they use, the clarity, are amongst the best as well. But yeah, all 316L stainless steel, aside from a few components. The case thickness of this watch is 12.3 millimeters. The case diameter, I measure from the 8 to the 2. It was coming in at 37.5 millimeters. When you go from the 9 to the 3, including the crown, it was coming in at 40.6 millimeters. The lug width on this is 20, and the lug to lug, tip to tip of the watch was coming at 43.4 millimeters. So really good proportions there, guys. It's going to fit a multitude of wrist sizes when you look at those sort of proportions. Yeah, so there we are. Case back, I did briefly show you. It's a screw down case back. Makes it quite easy to unscrew, given it's got those nodules and stuff. So yeah, nice and easy. Screw down crown situated at 3 o'clock, all sterile. You've got a bezel, which is a friction bi-directional bezel, so you can turn it both sides. The only thing I've realised, when you get to around there, it gets quite stiff and then loosens up again. And the same over here. Bit strange, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that. With these friction bezels, normally they're very smooth, but unfortunately that's not the case with this. Leather strap, super comfortable. It's got genuine leather embossed on the underneath, which I've no doubt is correct. Looks like it's 2 bits of leather that's been sealed at the side. Pin buckle clasp, all signed as well. All brushed, which is good to see, because in the early days of Baltany, they were producing sort of polished hardware when the watch was all brushed. So good to see they're not doing that anymore. The crystal covering the dial is a sapphire crystal, and guys, honestly, I don't think there's many brands out there that produce better crystals than Baltany on their watches. It's just really, really nice to see in terms of the clarity. The water resistance you'll make out there is 100 meters, so that'll give you 10 atmospheres of water resistance, and the weight will appear in the top right. So this was coming at 71.6 grams, which again, given the fact it's on a leather strap and it's quite a compact watch, it's probably not really surprising, to be honest. It's probably about where it should be given the proportions and stuff of the watch. But yeah, let's have a look at the dial now, guys, in a bit more detail. So nothing's been applied onto the dial. It's a creamy white dial, which I really like, which is why I chose it. Mottled sort of effect, in the sense what it does look like. It looks like if you painted a wall, that's kind of what it looks like. It's not completely smooth. You've got little sort of marks on there, but I like that. I like dials. They sort of add a bit of character. You've got a minute track going around the outer edge. You've got yellow markers every hour in that minute track. Inside that, you've got numerals from 1 to 12. Like I said, just printed onto the dial. Nothing's been applied. Below the 12, you've got Baltany that's been written in script writing, all in uppercase, just below the 12 o'clock position, as I say. And your WR100M automatic just above the 6. I think the way they've done the dial is very, very clean, very, very crisp. Obviously, they're not going to get any points for originality. This is obviously a homage watch. But I like the proportions of the hands. The second hand reaches out until touches right at the edge of the minute track. The minute it comes sort of just past the inside of the minute track, and the hour hand almost kisses the inside of the numerals, which I think is basically exactly where you want your hands to reach out to. High polished hands, nice backdrop to the dial, and obviously the all brushed element of the watch. Cathedral style hands, you've got a nice counterbalance on the second hand, not too big, which tends to be something that we're seeing a bit more of now. Huge sort of counterbalances, which is not needed. But like I say, yeah, really, really good proportions. Yeah, I think the hands and this style look really, really nice. But like I said, there's two other color variations to choose from also. I will bring the loom up now, guys. The loom initial burst is pretty decent, but it doesn't last as long as I was hoping, to be honest. I thought Baltany, one of my favorite brands, one of the premier brands on AliExpress, and they're becoming a really good micro brand in their own right. I was expecting the loom to just go and go, but it doesn't. It's decent, but I would like to have seen maybe a couple more layers that would just give it a little bit more longevity in terms of lasting. Because, like I said, the initial burst is decent, but in no time at all, it does sort of fade, and that's what you're sort of seeing in this sort of video in terms of the time-lapse video of the loom. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's got a Seiko N838 movement inside. Once you've unscrewed the crown, there's only one position. There's not a whole lot to talk about here. Like I said, you just set the time to wherever you want it, put the crown back in. Obviously, you'd have seen the second hand did hack. So yeah, but yeah, not a lot to do with these movements. But they are rugged, reliable movements. It's nice to see no ghost positions, as I've said. But there you go. That's the dial. That's the hands. That's the loom. That's the movement. That's everything going on there. Let me just pop it on the wrist quickly. Give you an idea of what it looks like on my wrist, guys. One moment. Okay, so guys, this is what it looks like on me. Like I say, that clarity of the crystal is very good. Uh, Very crisp sort of finishing. Done really, really well. I'm sure you wouldn't expect anything different with Baltany. I think they've become a really well-respected brand, sort of like a last finish of the bezel, which is nice to see. And like I said, I just think it looks really crisp, really, really nice, and a good alternative at a fraction of the price of the watch this is Homage in. So what do you all think, guys? Okay, so guys and girls, that'll now take me swiftly on to what I think is pants and pucker about the watch. If you've ever watched before, you know I always start with pants. I do like to go on a high with pucker. So what I think is pants about the watch is it's not a great deal, to be honest. I think for the price, which I bring up in front of me, I think this is an excellent watch, to be honest. But one thing I'm going to have to mention is the bezel. Like I said, when you get to sort of around that sort of position, up until about there, so sort of that sort of area, and then the same up here, over there, it becomes quite stiff. I'm really not sure why that is. I'm guessing they needed to sort of level out the underside of the bezel or something. But yeah, the bezel is what I'd mentioned for pants. The only thing, what I think is Pukka, a great deal more, probably hardly surprising. I'm going to have to mention that crystal clarity. The crystal clarity on this is fantastic. Yeah, like I say, it's the business, isn't it? It does really, really well for itself. So the crystal clarity, I'll go with the dial. I think the dial looks really, really cool. I do like the way it's done. I do like little sort of textures and stuff on my dial. Yeah, always appreciated. The movement, the fact they've used the NH38 movement in a dial in a watch that hasn't got a date. I'm always going to mention that sort of stuff because I appreciate it. The general look of the watch, I know those of you are going to be saying, well, it's not original, and it definitely isn't original. But I think it's a cool looking watch, isn't it? The execution in terms of how Baltany have pulled off the way they've done it in terms of, I know it's homaged, but they've done it well, if you like. And the price, like I said, for just over £100, I think this does represent good value for money. Like I said, I think the bezel is an isolated thing. I've had so many Baltany at this point, and there's normally very, very few issues. So, like I say, probably an isolated thing. But yeah, they're the things I mentioned for Pukka. I'll go with the crystal clarity, dial, movement, general look, execution, and the price of the watch. And that'll take me on to, would I recommend this watch? And I've said it many, many times, when it gets to a point where there's very, very few things to mention for pants and quite a few more things for Pukka. You obviously know what's coming, didn't you? Of course, I would. It'd have to be said that I'd have to recommend this watch. I don't think there's been a Baltany that I don't like, to be honest. I think they do some exceptional stuff, very well thought out in terms of how they execute it and how they finish it and stuff. So, yeah, I definitely would. But guys and girls, please let me know what you think about this watch, more importantly, and maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as always say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and always watch the time. Take care, guys. All the very best.